Hey guys, welcome to Little Black Bird 91. We're talking to you guys about Married at First Sight. Listen, I didn't want to do it. I can't lie to you. I didn't want to do it. And in fact, I actually missed a couple episodes because I didn't want to do it. But we're now here. Hold on a minute. I feel like this thing is intentionally trying to set man up. I didn't want to review it, but we're here reviewing it, right? So we're talking to you guys about the latest episode. And there's a couple of things. I made notes. Okay, all right. I went and got my notes and I got plenty of them. So let's get deep. Let's not waste much time. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate y'all. We're here to entertain and educate. If you haven't done so already, join our membership as well. It literally is $1, £1 to join the membership as well. Look, and join our Patreon, and also you can grab our merchandise with a link down below. Okay, let's talk about this episode because let me be real with you. I love the fact they're keeping it to an hour, no more than that. It's not needed anything else. So let's get straight into the first couple, right? I want to talk about Orion and Lauren, okay, and their first situation, all right? Orion and Lauren. Okay, all right, Orion and Lauren. What is their biggest problem? Okay, now I haven't watched the previous episodes. I just know there was an issue with Lauren calling him a name that was derogative concerning his indigenous background and his ancestors, right? And this has been a cause for concern for him to the point where he cannot forgive her and he no longer sees a romantic connection with Lauren. Can we call it what it really is? I'll get deep with this, but let me call it what it really is. The Negro ain't attracted to her. Hasn't been, won't been, and isn't trying to be. Can we just keep it a buck? I don't want to lie and waste time and make it too psychological. We can get deeper after. The reality is he doesn't find her attractive, right? Has never done, doesn't want to, and ain't gonna find her attractive. Because the amount of detachment that he's brought into the show tells me he don't fancy her. Never has, ain't never gonna fancy her. And this argument became the vehicle of change that he needed, the luck that he needed to cause this relationship to crash and burn. Because in all honesty, if I was to break it down psychologically, what's really happening with Orion is what we call unforgiveness. And unforgiveness stems from a heart that is broken, wounded, bitter, angry, hurt, and they can't forgive. You see, forgiveness is for the strongest warriors. The reason why is because you can't be the hero in forgiveness, right? Okay. You can't be the hero in this forgiveness. Let me do my notes quickly. You can't forgive if you don't know how to forgive. If you haven't even forgiven yourself, it's hard to forgive others. If you're not willing to let go of pain and hurt, if you're not willing to give forgiveness to somebody who you believe is not worthy of that unforgiveness, if you're unwilling to let go of being quote unquote the hero of the story and making that person the villain, then you ain't gonna want to forgive. And my final point on that is when you're not strong enough because you're wounded by your emotional wounds, you're not going to want to forgive. Okay. All right. So, in all honesty, yes, she didn't call him the name, but she did make a statement, a comment about his face and why he might be red skinned. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. If it was him calling her a nigger, I think we'd all feel some type of way. I'm not going to try and diminish or belittle what he had gone through. What I'm going to be real about and say is that would have never stopped him if he found her attractive. It's just the real situation is. If he found her attractive, this would not be the conversation we are having right now. The brother told us and sat in front of the expert and said he romantically has no interest in her. Code word for, I don't find you attractive enough to continue this journey. Okay? And I'm going to use this as an out. Right? But in reality, what the reality of the situation, he mentioned a story of him being 12 years old and him having gone through racism, and that's fair enough. And then having to experience quote unquote racism with his partner, that hurts a lot. And let me tell you this now. Let's just take it as it for what it is, right? You're at 12, you're traumatized by racism and what people call you. They call you an apple. And then you get older, and the person who you believe is meant to be the one for you, who you're meant to be marrying, who you're meant to be intimate with, who you're meant to be close to, is the same person mocking you and laughing at you. And yes, you connect the two pains together. And I'm absolutely sure that it definitely hurt and it was painful for him and it was problematic for him to go through that situation. And I can see how this could be very traumatizing and re-traumatizing as you get older. I don't think as black people we need to play it down. I know she didn't necessarily say the word outright, but the alluded to the fact that his face was red skin is offensive. Leave it as it is. We can't defend our good sis. She was wrong, right? But what I would say is he never recovered from that moment. In fact, he kept on. I saw a clip of him talking with Pastor Cal and Lauren did everything in her power to apologize, say sorry. She used different apology languages. She went and researched his history and was looking for words that were derogative and the things that were even powerful and good. And she looked at it so she can improve herself so she wouldn't be in that situation again. Now, did she not hit his apology language? Did he want restitution, which she can't give necessarily? Did he want her to beg for forgiveness? What did he want from her? Did he want her to grovel? Right? And the reality is she's at the mercy of his emotional wounds. Without him tending to his emotional wounds, she will never win because he's always going to be in a state of victimhood and traumatization. And so long as he's in that position, he can't forgive her. Right? And any other person who comes into his life who offends him will also suffer the same fate because he's unwilling to let go of the pain of the past and move forward. He started making excuses, telling us what will my ancestors back home think about you? And what would the ancestors, think about, the fact that I'm continuing this marriage and you said what you said, they'll be offended. Yeah, Negro, let's be honest. I hear you. You're absolutely right. They would be offended and they will be hurt and they would be angry, but they're going to get over it once you get over it. Right? And I don't mean get over it, just get over the slur. What I'm talking about is the unforgiveness in your heart, Orion. It can't run. It's got nothing to do with the slur. The slur is only a part of it. You have unforgiveness and bitterness in your heart. And if you don't release it, you can't love. Because anytime you get offended, you will be the offendee and you will offend others. And your unwillingness to let go of that pain, or your unwillingness to let go of that frustration, your unwillingness to let go of your past will end up putting you in positions where your relationships break down. Right? Yeah, you weren't expecting it. I hear it, bro. And yeah, it's painful because the very person who should have your back is the same person that also hurt you. That does something to somebody, by the way. That does something. But it does something to people who have not sorted out their wounds. Can I be honest with you? I was one of those people, easily offended. I'll tell you a situation. I remember a situation, and I was talking to a friend about it today, this afternoon. I was saying one of my earlier girlfriends in my earlier lives, of my my early life. I remember she told me something. She said, "I feel a bit embarrassed by the way that you dance in public." It's my early lives. And I remember I said to her, that I don't know if I'll use the words that it hurt, but I was pissed. And I said to her, do you know what? You go out with your girls, I'm gonna go out with my boys. We don't need to go out together anymore. And from that day onwards, let me tell you something. We went with our separate people. And it began the beginning of the end because it created a chasm and it created a distance between myself and her, because I was unwilling to forgive her for what she said. But the reality was I was hurt by two things. One, you're supposed to have my back. You're supposed to be my number one. You're supposed to be my girl. You're supposed to be the person who actually never does those things to me and make me re-experience what I experienced when I was a kid. Now, I understand his position. I do actually get it, and it's very painful to go through. So I'm not going to diminish his experience, but I'm going to tell him that wound that he has not been tended to. And when the wound hasn't been tended to, anybody pressing a button or pressing the wound will cause you to react offensively. And so I created a chasm between myself and my girlfriend because I was unforgiving of what she said, rather than actually sitting in it and having a conversation and explaining how much it hurt. Of course, you can't take certain things back, right? You can't. Certain things just never should come out your mouth. I'll be honest with you. It should never be said, right? But you've got to learn how to move forward. You've got to learn how to put certain things aside. You've got to learn how to forgive. You've got to learn how to say, do you know what? I'm not the hero of the story, or not am I the victim of the story. I just need to let it go and move forward. Okay, all right. The next point I said is that they asked him. One of the reasons was Pascal asked him. About what is it that will help you? What is it you didn't get to do? And he said he never got to express himself. He never got to truly express himself because she always goes from 0 to 100 when he expresses himself. So he got a chance to express himself. This is on the last episode. He got a chance to express himself. He expressed how he felt. And guess what happened? He still was not satisfied, right? I'm not satisfied with where I've been. He's not satisfied, and he will not be satisfied. Because still I want more. Still I want more. Like, you're not satisfied, and you won't be, because there's an insatiable hunger to feed the beast of your wound. And it keeps consuming, and until you say to that beast of a wound, be gone, it's not going to move. Right? It's not going to give up. Right? It's going to keep on being there. It's going to keep on being an eyesore. It's going to keep on offending other people. All right? Now, I will say this. It probably didn't help that, she was volatile in the space of saying, I'm going to quit this marriage. It only further enhanced his reasoning to keep on leaving a relationship, if I'm honest with you. All right? So the brother was like, I'm going to go. Okay? Oh, you going to flip it out? You going to leave the marriage? Fantastic. I'm going to make sure I get out of here before you do. That's for sure. And he was unforgiving. I want to say this. Trust can equal attraction. A lot of times people don't have attraction because they don't trust the person, right? And attraction don't necessarily mean physical. I'm talking about interpersonal. And so he said they have great chemistry. Reality is he never said he was attracted to her. He never said I'm so attracted to you. You know why? Because he isn't attracted to her. Simple as, and that's why also he didn't want to go forward either. Yes, unforgiveness is a major thing, but the reality of the situation is he was unattracted and he did not trust her either. Let's talk about Brennan and Emily. I want to talk about Brennan and Emily again once more. Okay. All right. Cool. And it's interesting because obviously Orion was, before he started talking about how big his nuts were, all this kind of chat. Anyway, another story. Brennan and Emily, let's talk about them. Okay, let me be honest with you. You want a do you want the quick breakdown of this situation? Let me tell you the honest truth again. He don't find her attractive. It's that simple. Guys, it's that simple. I'll go psychologically deeper, but it's that simple. He don't find her attractive. Okay? All right? You don't find her attractive. And honestly, you're probably right. Orion is probably into men and you don't want to tell the truth. Because you're out here, I kissed a boy and I liked it. That note was off, but don't worry about that. I taste a cherry lipstick. And I'm not trying to be rude to him either, to be honest. All right, cool. So when it comes obviously to Brennan and Emily, again, I want to say it. He's not attracted to her, okay? And the reality was he never probably was attracted to her from the very beginning, okay? He tolerated her. He didn't like her. Remember I told you guys about this situation, about why men kind of fade off? He tolerated her. He never liked her. And the reality of the situation is, right, he's given me somebody who is a very dismissive attachment style individual. He's a dismissive, avoidant person. There were some things he did. There was something that he mentioned. He mentioned on the episode that, he felt like they had spent 24/7 together and he just basically needed a bit of a break. That is giving a dismissive individual straight away. Okay? All right? That's giving the dismissive energy straight away. A dismissive attached person, this is exactly the kind of behavior they do. They get overwhelmed with all the lovey-dovey behavior. They wanted it in the beginning. They get overwhelmed and then they detach. But the reality is he don't find her attractive as well as being a dismissive attachment person. In the very beginning of the series, when I watched the first quote unquote episode, they spoke about how difficult he was when it comes to relationships. And one of them was about expressing emotions. When people struggle to express emotions, you see, the fearful avoidant overshares. The fearful avoidant overshares. The anxious person, tends to share, but maybe not just wants to do too much. The dismissive person doesn't share at all. The dismissive person avoids emotion. The dismissive person avoids the connection. They're trying to separate themselves and keep a hold of their individuality. And what he was saying was, Emily is getting far too close for me, and it's starting to grate on me, and I'm starting to dislike her. The sinister energy you're sensing is a dislike. He doesn't like her. I'm not saying he hates her. I want to make it very clear here. It's a difference. He doesn't like her. Not that it's even a dislike. I don't like you, right? I don't like you enough to want to pull my weight in this relationship. And actually, when we came back from the honeymoon, I started to realize just how real it was. We're going to have to start living together. And that was a final buck stop for me. In fact, that was a final stop for me. In fact, I had to put a stop to it early, back. I had to sabotage your efforts of you getting too close because you're going to try and get too emotional. And when you get too emotional, I need to cut ties because I'm not ready for that level of emotion from you. So he sabotaged. And then he had the audacity, and I'm one of these people too. I know it. I know what we do. He had the audacity to say, "Hey, I'm here protecting you. You're protecting you." Because another thing about dismissive people is we are very touchy-feely when it comes to our critique, right? So what you heard him say when he was talking to Emily, you heard him say, "I heard him say, eh, eh, I heard him say, eh, eh, I heard him say, do, 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 do." But yeah, I see you, Sean. But you know what you heard Brennan say to Emily is that, hey, look, I don't want to say this thing because I wouldn't want you to say it about me. Which is, it's not about her and protecting her. It's about protecting you. Because the dismissive person, oftentimes what they struggle with is telling the truth about how they really feel because they're afraid that if they get said to them, they are sensitive and they'll get hurt. And they'll end up detaching even more, right? Okay, so he wasn't protecting her. He was protecting himself. Okay, all right. So let me see. Another thing that a dismissive person will do is when they detach, it's very quick and it's very painful because the speed of the detachment is what catches people out. But not only is it the detachment of the person, it is physical intimacy gets dropped immediately. Physical touch, anything to do with you touching me is going to become a problem. It's going to become a problem. When you're dismissive avoidant person, when they are detaching, it is horrible to watch. I can't lie to you. I'm horrible to watch. I know. Okay. All right. I suddenly, don't touch me. Don't breathe the air that I'm breathing. Don't even look at me as you're walking towards me because I don't want to see you. Right. When we begin to detaching, it's horrible to watch because they literally go cold turkey. And that's what Brennan did to Emily. He literally did it. He literally went cold turkey on her and cut everything. And so now they're sitting on the sofa, right, having a conversation. And she's like, just tell me the truth. Are you finding me attractive? And instead of telling her the absolute truth about how he really feels, he's trying to lie about it and be like, oh, I don't want to tell you the truth because, you know, I'm trying to protect you. I'm trying to be like he's noble. He's not noble. Okay, all right? He's not noble at all. He just needs to be honest. He doesn't find her attractive and therefore has begun a detachment process. All right, cool. Let's talk about Cameron and Emily. I tell you, the first three couples, the issue they're having is the same issue everyone's having. Okay? It's the same issue everyone's having. It's just people are dealing with it differently. Okay? Do you know what the problem here with Cameron and Emily is? Emily don't find him attractive. I told you straight away. Okay, all three couples, nobody finds the other person attractive. Emily don't, Brennan don't, and Orion don't. They do not find their partners attractive. This is why they're here. Okay, this is why they're here. They are here because I said Emily, Claire. Thank you. I apologize. Thank you. It's not even Emily, it's Claire. Thank you for correcting me. I'll go and slander Emily's name like that. My bad, Emily. I slandered your name a little bit. My bad. You know, that's how detached I am from the show. I do apologize. Okay, it's Claire. I apologize. But you know, Claire, don't give her hoots what he is, okay? She is the turned off, and in fact, I want to say one word. She is disgusted by him. I'm telling you right now, that woman don't like him and is disgusted by him. I'm telling you, she went into that house, and I know when she got outside, she wanted to throw up. I'm telling you, she got outside the house and wanted to throw the heck up. When she saw the house, she's a good actor, but when she got outside the house, I'm telling you now, when she left him, she put her two fingers in her throat and started throwing up. I'm telling you right now, emotionally, she started doing that. I'm telling you right now. So she is literally dragging her feet and saying, you know what? I don't want to be the bad one. I don't want to look bad on TV. I don't want to be mean. I'm going to drag my feet to the 8-week line, okay? And when I drag my feet to the 8-week line, I shouldn't look too bad because, you know, I'm taking it real slow. When women start telling you they're taking it slow, you need to put your two fingers like this, put it in your throat, and that's you need to throw up because it's bullcrap. I tell you, we tell you guys every season when women start telling you, I'm trying to take it slow, it's bullcrap. Either you're ugly or you're ugly. And the reality is he's ugly to her. It is what it is. And we don't have to lie about it and try to make it too physiologically deep. The woman is dragging her feet in terms of physical intimacy. She don't want to be touched. Okay, she don't want to be touched. Now, bar there be some, you know, some actual trauma that's gone in her life. This isn't giving trauma. This is giving the fact that he's going to cause her trauma if she lets him touch him. You know the ones where when a woman's like, oh my, she goes, you know that means basically if that nigga touches me, my coochie gonna dry. All the moisture. You understand what I'm saying to you? That is, she gonna clench. Every part of her body is clenching right now, and that is literally because he's ugly to her. And not only is he ugly to her, my bad, I brought you on a bit early there, bro. My bad, bro. But not only is he ugly to her, but actually, in reality, the situation happens with these two, right? What it is that with this situation, okay, she is disgusted by him. You know, disgusted, okay? All right, maybe I'm being a little bit unfair because I'm a man and I'm talking about the woman. I didn't say that Brennan was disgusted by Emily. You know, maybe I'm being a bit unfair. You know what I mean? But I can tell you can see it in her eyes that if he touches her, she's gonna ruin him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. Now, he knows. Do you know why I know he knows? He knows because let me tell you something. When a brother knows when the girl finds her unattractive, you see how he started complaining about the dishes in the sink? You see how he tried to start keeping score. Now, I know he's petty. Don't get it twisted. He's petty. He is. Okay, we saw that before, right? But when you start keeping score like this, it's because you ain't got no coochie. Okay, you ain't getting them panties. And also, what's also happening is you're keeping score because she keeps score. And she keeps score because you're ugly to her. It's just, I want to keep it so real with you. I don't want to lie and make it extra psychological. She's keeping score because you're ugly to her. And so he's now keeping score in order to retaliate to her keeping score. So now he's saying, if it was me, you would have told me about the dishes in the sink. But let me move on from the ugliness because it's okay. I don't need to drag on it. The next point is this: religious differences. I don't think that's a major issue. He's an atheist. She, a former Christian. From a former Christian household. She is a Catholic and saying she's trying to be faithful now. So hey, I'm not mad at it. If she just wants to be faithful in her faith, great stuff. That shouldn't be an issue. They should just work out what should happen is they should work out on some principles that they believe would be best to unify them. You know, kindness, love, you know, hope, endurance, love never counts on wrongs, etc., etc. And maybe let the kids go to mass on a Saturday or whatever when they need to. It's not a big deal. It shouldn't cause tension and arguments because the tenets of Catholicism, even Christianity, should really marry with somebody in terms of general day to day. Okay. My only thing about him and her was two things about him. Why did he had a bit of an air of arrogance when it came to about living quarters and how they would live together. He was trying to make it big like he's been some expert liver. My guy, you did a couple of years with the ex, I hear it, but you're still acting as if that you're never going to be a problem in this household. I get it, but you need to chill. Stop making yourself the arrogant winner. I need you to chill. Next thing is also, why did you want to test her limits? Why did you want to keep pushing things to her limits? I don't get that. What's the point? Why? Sir, think about it. Why are you doing that? You know? Yeah? Why are we doing that? You know what I'm saying to you? Why are we doing that? Okay. So I think that needs to be deaded. You know what I mean? That needs to be deaded. Let her go to the bin right there. You know. So I just need them to chill on that, because it's that arrogance is not cute. You're already not attracted to her, and then you're adding arrogance on top of it. So you're now an arrogant prick who's ugly to her. It's just it. You can't win. You know what I'm saying to you? You ain't gonna win. So I need him to stop that. If he has any chance of winning. Let's move on to Austin and Becca, and I'll invite Sean up. And a matter of review should be done in a good half an hour or so. Look at that, speedily done. Speedily done. You get me? So Austin and Becca. Okay, listen, shoot me, don't shoot me. I like them together. Can I be honest with you? But something tells me that Austin's not being all the way true. I don't know. But maybe I have trust issues. I think I have trust issues. I think that's what it is. I think I have trust issues. I think I'm projecting onto them too. But something just feels not quite right. I'm scared, okay? Because he's a yes man. And yes man is not always yes man. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Yes man, when they finally run out of steam, they turn to no man. Yeah? And you don't want a no man, because no man gonna be around. I don't want that for Becca. You know what I'm saying to you? Right now, everything's a yes. But I do like them. I want to say there's some things that they do. There's 5 things that I like about their relationship. There's a mutual desire for each other, it seems like. They bond over similar interests. They negotiate well. It's not a win or a lose situation for them. They lead seemingly with love and consideration and kindness, okay? And I love the fact that they focus on their emotional connection first, not sex. So I love their relationship, because I think they actually authenticate what healthy relationship looks like in terms of mutual desire, bonding, negotiation, leading with love, and focus on emotional connection. Okay, so I love that aspect. I'm not against them. I think they actually have the tenets of making a great relationship and marriage, because they've developed key things within themselves. My only thing is, he's a yes man. And a yes man, it's not always going to be yes man, and that's going to turn to a no man, and a no man turn to no man of being around. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah, I don't want that for that relationship. I need him to be truthful about how he feels. For instance, he spoke about his faith. She's a Jew, he's a Christian, and he started and she said, "Oh look, every time I'm with Christians, they will try to convert me." Austin's like, "No, no. I'm just all about the love. Hey, if that's what you say, it's about your love, then I'm calling it. I hear you. I'm not mad at it, let say la vie, let it flow. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But it just feels like, again, everything. Remember I said this. Everything so far has been so good with them. Like there's not been a challenge yet that I've seen him falter. And I've only watched a few episodes. I'm just gonna be honest with you, okay? I'm just gonna be honest with you. I've only seen a few episodes. I've only seen the first one, and I think I've seen the last one and a bit of a middle episode. And I didn't see any more than that. But every time I see him, he's always yesing. Yes, this, yes, that. Even this episode, he was like, yes, this, yes, that. Oh, you got different faiths. Yeah, it's fine. No worries at all. I want to even ask you, Pascal. And Pascal was like, yeah, just different tenets. You guys are good, Christian and Jews. And, nobody wants to hear they're going to hell. But she's going to hell. If by your own beliefs, I don't need to lie to her, but you don't have to mention it every single time. Of course, you don't have to. You want to make an interfaith relationship work. Probably best not to call the person saying they're going to hell. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't advise you to say that to a person. But the reality of the situation, Pascal, let's not lie to her. If she doesn't believe in Jesus going to hell, according to his faith, you know what I mean? So that's my thing. Now, my last thing is this. Absolutely, bro. My last thing is this. Do you not want to connect physically, or you're not physically attracted to want to connect with her? You remember I said to you, just like when why the women say, let's want to take it, they're going down here, let's take it slow. We don't know which way to go. Like when I start hearing people doing, baby ain't no honeymoon. I was like, you know, I said, I was like, yo, I want to be very honest with you. Okay. All right. I said, listen, let's be real. When we're taking it slow, what does that really mean? Okay. This ain't no honeymoon. You know what I mean? You say, slow down. I just want to get to know you. And I'm hearing it, but whenever I hear slow down, there better be some physical reasons, like Sean just said about her stitches. I hope it's through the stitches, but they never mentioned that. Okay, you never mentioned the fact that I want her body to heal, but I'm ready for her. I never heard that. I never heard excitement about I just can't wait to jump into that space with her. But right now I want to take it slowly. We got to make sure she's good. I never heard that. What I heard was we focusing on our connection. And when I start hearing we focus on connection, it's giving you don't really like her like that, bro. But I can be wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong. If I'm wrong about Becca and Austin, I will be ecstatic. I don't want to be right. I'll be honest with you. I don't want to be right. I'd rather be wrong. This is one of those ones where I can say happily, I want to be wrong. Because I actually see great tenants in their relationship that can make the relationship work as well. So that's my points on Austin and Becca. And yeah, I'm gonna get Sean up and let's discuss. Capiton.
What's up, brother?
What's good, bro?
Finally got you activated, huh?
Negro. I don't know why you did it. Don't know why you did it.
Listen, I'm copywriting my sound effects, so please. Be out here trying to use my sound effects, okay?
Bam.
I'm glad to hear you activated. You sound excited. Finally, whew. I was like, I can't sell this. I can't sell this season much more.
8 episodes in, I'm like, oh damn. What are you telling me though about this episode, man?
Oh man, this is an ain't no way kind of season. Let me tell you, it is an ain't no way. Ain't no way, baby.
Ain't no way, indeed.
This is a bad hand kind of season, boy. I know you was just talking about Becca and what's the old boy's name? I don't forgot his name that quick. Austin, yeah. He don't want her, bro. She got too much to her, bro. Let's go down the list. And no disrespect. She got endometriosis. She got some type of spinal thing going on. She has anxiety. She is agnostic. She really don't want to have kids, but she's kind of sort of willing to have kids if her partner wants to have kids, which means she don't want kids. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 struggles. We got a lot of struggles. I don't know why they put her on this season, bro. She just got a lot to her. And I think Austin and his roommates, because you noticed, I don't know if you covered this part, but when they talked about them moving together, he got a roommate. And he was like, yeah, we could take our time. We could take our time moving in. And maybe figure it out after decision day. He don't want her. He don't want that young lady. So, she seems like a very nice girl. I will say that. She does seem like a very nice young lady. Seems very pleasant, nice, chipper, upbeat kind of attitude. But she got a lot going on. And I'm sorry. I don't know. I just don't understand how Mavs decided to just place her with somebody. I get it. Everybody has something, but she has a lot of things going on with her. She got a lot of things going on with her. So I'm still not understanding why they threw her in the mix. And he's like, I'm not going to be tussling with you. I'm not going to be tussling with you. So he just goes silent. I think he might be somebody that stonewalls or he might be somebody that checks out. So when she get to fussing and saying what she can't do and what she won't do, he's just gonna look at her like, okay, dear. But I don't know. That's a lot. That's a lot for any one person to take anyway. I couldn't do it. Could you?
No, I couldn't do it, but maybe he's capable of doing it. I couldn't personally do it, but maybe he's capable of doing it. You know what I mean? Um, I mean, if I'm honest with you, I mean he's a bit of a yes man, so I don't know if I can trust his word in terms of how dedicated he is to the cause, but he seems to be, um, he seems to be involved, and they connect a lot on stuff. So they bonded on the N64. They talked about the N64. He was like, you bring your S64 to mine, or am I bringing to yours? Like he seems to be somebody who really is open to that. So I don't want to say he can't do it. You know what I mean? But I hear
What
what you
did
said.
you
I do
just
believe
say?
that
They
they're meant to
bonded
be
over what, Kojo?
N64, bro.
Oh, video games. That's the basis for a stable marriage, right? Those are the
Hey,
tenets
listen,
that
it
are
can
gonna
be.
hold up their marriage.
Hey, it can be. It's a part of the likes and dislikes somebody has and some of the interests they have. You can bond over N64, my brother.
And what did he
You
say
didn't
to
never
do
play
with the
GoldenEye.
N64? What did he say to do with the N64?
She was no well. He was like, do you want me to bring my N64? She was like, well, do you want to bring your N64? And he was like, actually, my N64 is kind of bust up. Bring yours. Cool.
That's right, because his N64 is staying in the house. Trust.
Sean,
Yes.
get
He
out of
said,
here,
you can
Sean.
bring yours. So when it's time for us to pack it up, you take yours, mine is gonna stay home because I'm gonna go home. Trust that.
Oh my
Thank you,
gosh, you
Nancy
gotta
P.
tell me.
Nancy P got caught his drift. He ain't no
Oh
fool.
man.
He's passive aggressive. That's called passive aggressive, Kojo.
Oh man, y'all are doing my boy Austin a disservice out here, cuz you know what I mean. Did him a disservice out here, ruining the poor kid. You know what I mean? So no, but listen, I do understand what you're saying. There's a lot of ailments that she's going through, and it's a lot for anybody to take on. And I do hope he's being true about it. That's what I'm gonna say. But other than that, I love the tenets of their relationship. Every time I see them, they seem to have a mutual desire for each other. They're building on their interests and stuff, and I like that. So, I don't want to be bad on anything they've done at the moment. I think they got a good chance of staying together decision day.
Okay, you can remain hopeful. But I know, and I don't want to project, right? But and I'll ask you this question after I'm finished my little rant. But if it was my wife, right? We married, right? It's not even like we single and we're in a relationship and we're trying to just take it slow. But it's my wife.
Mm.
I'm desirous of her, and I'm ready to, move the needle forward. I'm not gonna be, holding back unless she's like, you know what, I want to take it slow. But usually, when a man is saying, "Oh, I just want to get to know you, I want to slow things down," that's because
That's true.
he's unsure about how it's gonna go down. And
That's true.
when it comes to sex, as men,
Mm.
we bear the burden of being the ones to get the action done. So if
Mm.
there's an ounce of doubt about whether we can get the action done, we gonna gracefully bow out.
I hear that still. Definitely hear you on that, bro. Okay, so what's your thoughts on Cam and Claire then, bro?
Ain't no way. And I don't blame her. I mean, listen, she's she got a lot to her, and especially just I'm surprised that she's a therapist the way that she kind of runs around and handles relationships. But yeah, I don't see it for these two either. When he escorted her into that basement apartment with all those spiders jumping around everywhere, and then he wants to show that to her. I just, you know, it's a no bueno. And I think the
Yeah.
problem is, I think under maybe another circumstance where where a woman was able to get to know him, and then they were kind of like able to get you know, an understanding of who he is, and then all the little quirks and the weird little things that he does, they could get past it. But if it's a Married at First Sight, he's too quirky, a little too weird, a little too strange, a little too off the beaten path for her. And I think it can be off-putting because, come on, bro, you brought her to that place, and then you want to have her to taste that nasty rice cake with whatever that nasty sauce is that he put on the top of it. It's like, this isn't the time to gross her out and test her wherewithal. She already is very skittish around you. She barely lets you touch her. I just feel like you shouldn't be introducing things that could potentially gross a woman out when you're trying to get romance infused into your relationship. Like, you shouldn't be picking up spiders and like, here's a spider. You know, here, taste this. It's nasty. No, you should be trying to romance her, feed her a chocolate-covered strawberry, do something that's going to, you know, titillate her senses, but not something that's going to gross her out. So I just think, I don't see it. And then she just looks at him. She already gets the ick. I'm really telling you, she gets the ick when she sees him. She gets the ick when she sees him. She barely wants to touch him. And then he doesn't help himself. They were sitting on the couch, you know? And this is another reason how I knew she doesn't even flirt with him. She doesn't even flirt with him. She was like, oh, those shorts are kind of short. And then he pulls them up. He was like, you want them to get even shorter? She said, no, I'll pass. Not even a flirtation, bro. She didn't even touch his thigh, touch his legs. Like, oh, you got nice legs. Nothing. She gave him nothing. She told him to pull his shorts down. It's not going to happen between these two. I'm sorry. She's just closed up.
Goodbye, panties. She says, you ain't going to get me like that. I mean, I definitely hear you on that, bro. I'm not going mad at it, though. You know, from what I see, he's a little bit awkward as well. So I think it doesn't help either. He's got a very unique sense of doing things. And I think that doesn't work for a woman like Claire. But it's not just that. She doesn't find him attractive. So no matter what he is, it's not going to work. It's the Jacob and Haley situation from back seasons ago. She doesn't find the person attractive, so it's just not going to work. You know, and this is why we say all the time, ladies, when ladies are saying about how they can grow in their damn attraction, most of them can't. They actually can't, because in reality, they feel the same way that we feel about this attraction issue. When you're ugly to them, you're ugly to them, and then it's like you have to be almost perfect to make it work, like you were saying. And if you're going to be perfect, you actually can't be yourself because you are not perfect. So it's like it's never going to work between Claire and Cameron. As well, you know, but you know, that's his quirks also too, that a little bit of arrogance he's got as well. I'm a big fan of that, but you're right, him putting a spider was just nuts. The girl don't really like you already. You can only do that when the girl likes you, bro. You got a buy-in. He ain't got no buy-in. So yeah, I'm with you, bro, on that. I can't lie to you. I'm with you on that, definitely. Can it be me, baby?
Yeah, no, it just ruined it because, and I think she tried a little too. I got to give her a little credit because when she came in there, she said, oh, this is nice. You know, she tried. She said, oh, this is a nice place. It's kind of homey. This is what I imagined.
That's what she did. She did imagine. That's a problem.
But then when she walked out, she was like, "Ugh, I don't even feel comfortable walking around in my socks in this place." She said, she told him, we won't be coming back here. We won't stay here.
Yep. I knew at that moment that was it. She ain't never coming back. That means that she don't like your place. She feels ick for her. Yeah, he needs to let that go. Can't lie to you. Yeah, she said, listen, you touch me after that, we all gonna have a problem.
But I think she's being nice, you know, whereas I know you mentioned the Haley Jacob. I mean, I guess we'll continue to see how the season progresses, but she was just downright rude to him, you know, rude and just condescending. She's, you know, I think Claire's doing the best for the moment, you know, that she has. Oh, do you remember they had a good conversation about, I think they were kind of talking about conflict resolution styles.
Okay.
And I think I messed up. And she said, you know, we like to talk things out. And or no, he was saying, I think you're gonna get tired of me before I'll get tired of you. And then she was like, yeah, I might. And then he mentioned like, well, I like to kind of see how
Yes,
the
I remember
worst they
this.
can be before
Yes.
I jump to a conclusion.
Yeah, you're on point.
And
Yeah.
she just completely disagreed with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I understand. Why is he trying to push it to the limit for? About push it to the limit. Why? Why do you want to do that? Why do you want to
I
see
think
how far you can push a
there's
person?
something about pushing boundaries that's in his background, because you remember he talked about getting in trouble at church. Remember, he said
Yes,
he
as a
got kicked out
10-year-old.
of his church,
Yeah.
And that's another thing
Yeah.
that she said, well, I hear your point, but I totally disagree. So they can't even disagree on religion.
He definitely gonna have an
But
issue.
he likes to push boundaries. He also mentioned something about having an issue in his childhood in school and getting kicked out of school. Remember that? And he talked about having to go to therapy. That was in
Oh, I
previous
don't know, bro.
episodes, so maybe you didn't see those. But in previous
Yeah, so far,
episodes, like
yeah.
towards the beginning, when they were just getting to know each other, he talked about, because she asked him, had he ever been to therapy before? And he said,
Oh,
yes, when I
yes,
was a
yes.
child. So there's something with him in boundaries. That's the
And will he
same
go
reason
again?
why he picked up those spiders and put them in her face and thought it was a joke. And the same reason why he had her taste that food that he knew was nasty and that rice cake. He likes to push people's boundaries, and people like that are antagonistic. And I don't think that's gonna go well, because you have to kind of, that's like it's an immature way of handling people. It's like you can see what the person's problem is, so instead of talking through the problem or addressing it, you're gonna like push their boundary, because you're like, oh, I know you don't like spiders, but I really think it's not a big deal, because it's nothing to really be scared of, because the spider can't hold you. So instead of saying, let's talk this through, let me help you, work through this. No, here's a spider in your face. No, that's not the way to, you don't shock somebody into your way of thinking or out of their way of thinking. So I think he has some work to do there.
No, yeah, I definitely hear that, and yeah, I definitely agree that, man. He's definitely someone that pushes boundaries. But like I said, yeah, I was confused when you were saying about the situation with pushing her to the limit. I was like, why are we pushing people to the limit? It don't make no sense. Why we're doing that? I think that was a little bit odd to me personally. I just felt like that's the kind of person that's going to get a bit toxic before you know it, because he's willing to try and push your buttons to see how far you're willing to go, and he's probably going to be like, "Oh, I didn't know I was pushing your buttons that far." Like, yeah, niggas like that, dangerous. Can't lie to you. Negroes like that, dangerous. Okay.
Yeah, because look, he made that stupid comment in the bus to Orion and set off Orion and Lauren like they needed help. Because you remember
Destroyed
when
the
they were in the
relationship.
bus, he says, "Oh, we're off the reservation now." He knew that he shouldn't have made a comment like that,
Still can't believe he actually said that. That's mad.
and didn't apologize when Orion kind of called him out. He just feigned ignorance, like he didn't know what. Oh, really? Mm-hmm.
That's probably what actually added to that's probably what added to the Lauren and Orion situation as to why they were so pissed and stuff. So yeah, I definitely hear that. Brennan and Emily, what's your thoughts of that, man? Brennan and Emily.
He's meaner than a wet cat, bro. He is meaner than a wet cat, because he's more he gave her the business when they were at the last episode. Did you see when she was like, "You're no fun," and he looked at her and he gave her the business. He was like, somebody gives you that quiet dress down. He was like, "Don't make me cuss your ass out right here. What you not gonna do?" And then he did it again, boy. He gave Pastor Cal to work. Pastor Cal was like, "Where are we? Are you what are you not attracted to about her, or what are you attracted to her?" He was like, "What we're not gonna do is that." He's like, "I've seen it too many times." He's like, "You did it to Ryan. You done it to 1,000,001 guys en masse. You're not going to do that to me." If she's smart, she'll realize that he's not attracted to her, because he is not attracted to her. And I can't blame him because I wouldn't be either. She got a lot going on. She's a mess. Why is she on maths? Never been in a relationship. Never. Just random hookups, right? And you coming on maths, and you want to be a party girl. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. Now, what I don't like is how he could be a little bit more authentic without being just somebody that stonewalls and being rude and mean. He could just be a little bit more upfront with her and just say, hey, I'm just certain things. I don't think we're aligned on certain things. We just kind of see things differently. But he's playing this game like, oh, we just have everything in common. We're like the same person. That's what he said a couple of episodes ago. I'm like, bro, don't blow smoke up our butts, because there ain't no way. And he's another one. Oh, I'm taking it slow. I just want to pace myself. No, bro, you ain't pacing nothing. You don't like her. You don't want it. And that's okay. But I just think it's another one of those things. We talked about this in Ready to Move with some of the men and how they were acting. Men, a lot of guys, we struggle with this. And me too sometimes, because it's either I'm overly blunt or I just kind of don't say anything and I expect somebody to read between the lines. Now, if Emily, what I would say is, come on, baby girl. You can read the room. You can read the room. He just doesn't like you. He does not like you. She told him that she was ready to, move. I'll move at your pace. When a woman tells you, I'll move at your pace, that means she's open. It's all systems go. And it's your wife, and you talking about, oh, we could take our time. Yeah, nah. Then she was running around with her hair all matted up. Her hair's all matted up. And she's talking about, I have dreadlocks. Look at me. I've got dreadlocks. Come on. Don't be goofy. She was being goofy. And I think a collective of goofy things just really gave him the ick. He might have been thinking about her, but then her behavior, them just not being on the same page, especially for wives. Listen, you might call it respectability, you call it whatever you want to call it. But when it comes to men, most men, especially men of value, when we look at who's our wife going to be, we want them to be at a certain level. It may be steeped and rooted in patriarchy. Don't give me all the expressions and the political terms and the woke language, okay? It happens. When we think about wife, future, forever, the mother of our children, most men, especially a man of value, want them to be at a certain level. And this is for a wife, right? May we consider differently for a girl we're dating? Perhaps, of course, right? Those are different levels. But when it's like wife, and I think I'm trying to put myself in Brennan's shoes, and what he sees, what he's presented, she's not necessarily what you first envision when you think about a wife. Does it mean that she can't be a good wife? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying she's a bad wife. She's a bad person. I'm saying most men, and Kojo, please correct me if I'm wrong, there's usually like a baseline of certain things, like as a man we think about. Some things give or take, maybe certain men, depending on how you were brought up, you might move that out, bring that in, right? But there's a baseline. And right now, Emily is just really not that. I'm sorry. And that's what we're seeing the evidence of that. Now, again, I started by saying he's mean. He's a mean guy. He's meaner than a wet cat, because he cussed at Pastor Cal. Not directly, but you heard when Pastor Cal started pressing him for questions, because he don't want to say too much, because he knows if I say too much, he'll probably say something like what I just said. And he knows that might sound a little antiquated, not right, not correct if it's articulated in that way. So he's trying to avoid it. He was like, well, when you effing say it that way, shucks. No, bro, your actions. But what his actions are showing disdain for her. Disdain. Look, when they went on the they had their little excursion that they did. They went on that jet water thing. This girl had just sprained her arm in the shower. And he's like, come on, go. He don't care about her. First of all, I need to understand, like, I'm a clumsy guy, you know. I've slipped, I've fallen, I'm accident prone slightly. You know, I've learned a little bit how to manage it now as I'm grown. But this girl's always falling. She's on the after party in a sling and a cast. It's like, what, ma'am? Either you're drinking too much or you're just extremely clumsy. Get it together. She's always slipping and falling. But he put her up on that jet ski air thing. That's the last place you need to be with a sprained arm. Like, really? Y'all couldn't have gotten one of them paddle boats? You know, y'all couldn't have done a sunset cruise, a beachside, something or the other? He put this woman, he was like, let me finish her. He was like, hopefully she gets herself injured so I don't have to deal with her much longer. Put her up in a jet ski and then cheer her on. Yay! Oh, she fell a couple of times. Yeah, bro. Who's not going to fall in that thing? He don't care about her at all. Sorry.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think he's just not attracted to her. So yeah, anything goes, to be honest. Oh gosh, anything goes, to be honest, for their relationship. So yeah, I definitely hear you on that. And I mean, listen, look, I wish. I mean, he can't. He knows. I mean, I think you're right. He's gonna struggle to say it outright because it gets cut up, turned in a different. Gets turned in a different way. It gets used as a clip, whatever, potentially, and you're on the internet, whatever. But he does owe her the truth. So even if he says it offline, that's fine. But he owes her the truth, like, so she's not without understanding. Because you've decided to commit to marriage. This ain't no trial and error situation. You've gone and committed to marriage. So therefore, give her something to work with. But if you treat her like you just met off the street and you don't want to hurt her feelings, yeah, bro, you go and cause some issues and some carnage. So he definitely needs to fix up on that.
What did you think about what he said about going back to his apartment once they got back from the honeymoon?
What did he say? He had to say like what he's gonna go. He doesn't want to move in just yet. Is that what he said?
Yeah, bro. He said, you must have been watching it at 2.5 times speed.
I was watching 2.5 times. Yeah.
He told her, right? He said they were like just talking about, okay, what are we gonna do when we move in? He was like, listen, I don't know if I might be merging things, but at some point, whether it was like he did one of those confessionals or he said it directly to her, but in essence, he said, I felt like I was drained after being on the honeymoon, so I need a break.
24/7.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was like I'm like, it's your only 7 days in. He was like, I feel like my energy is drained. We could just come and pick this whole thing back up. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah, he running. He's too much, but also at the same time, he's running. He's sabotaging. He can't deal with that close contact. You know what I mean? He's sabotaging.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit about, how you were talking about the dismissive avoidant style, and how you said at certain points you start to feel your walls, like if somebody gets too close to getting under your skin and you feel the walls closing in. That's how I saw him in that moment, from a serious aspect. I know I was, poking a little fun at the whole scenario. But as I was watching him there, you could literally, when somebody just embodies the behavior so much, you could see it. You could see him feeling like I'm disappearing. And he's like, I can't deal with it. I have to get away. And I mean, shout out to her because she handled the situation perfectly. I got to give her some credit. As less experience in relationships she had, she gives him the space. You know what I'm saying? Like some people would just like crowd him in, tell me, hug me, tell me what's going on. I don't get it. But she like backs up off of him because no matter what you do, he's going to maneuver how he's going to maneuver. So I'm glad she just gave him that space to like see how it is. But the hope is that the point that he would get back and, you know, kind of reassess. But no, when she came to his house, he was so mean to her.
Yep.
You know, she was like being so nice, so complimentary of his home. You could tell she likes him, you know, like she likes him. And he was like, yeah, this is that. Yeah. He wasn't giving her any energy at all. It was like hard to watch.
Yeah, he started detaching himself, so he started being mean and started being cold. Basically, what it was being cold, and that's what happens when you start detaching from the person. You're trying to get back into your personal space, but you're being mean about it when you do it. And so he needs to work on that because it's gonna ruin relationships, not just this one but others as well. So yeah, he definitely was doing that. He definitely was pulling it away for sure. Trust me. Yeah, I agree with that. He was running, not even fleeing. He was running. He's overwhelmed now, you know. But I think also that plus he's not attracted to her, so he's overwhelmed with her presence, her energy, her consistency even, and it's too much for him. So he decided to run, you know, and create space and distance between himself and her. And he needs to recover, and then he'll be able to come back. But as for now, yeah, he ain't trying to. He's trying to get as much distance as he can.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I mean, ultimately, I don't think either one of them are ready to be married, let alone at first sight. Because the unfortunate part is like she's still like you and I, if somebody treated us that way, we wouldn't need them to tell us out loud, you're not attracted to me. Like we've had enough relationships, enough experience with, you know, the opposite sex to kind of see you don't have to tell me what's already obvious, right? And I think for her, because she just really it's unfortunate she does not have enough of the relationship and the lived life experience. She's kind of just used to kind of whatever guys throw at her and whatever perhaps she wants, you know. So it's she's not really emotionally invested enough or hasn't had enough serious relationships to read what it looks like when somebody likes you, what it should look like when somebody doesn't. And that's why it's not saying she has to be loose on the, you know, have 1,000,001 relationships or whatever. But if you're in so many situationships, that's also a red flag because you're not going to be able to really judge what good looks like. And she shouldn't, as sad as it is, he should be straightforward, but she shouldn't have to ask her either. She shouldn't have to ask him either because it's obvious. I know we're watching an edited show, but all I need is 5 minutes to see that that guy doesn't like her. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's unfortunate that that's the position that it is, but, and I can't stand when people do this. And I'm glad nobody's done it in the comments already. I think we've learned, we've evolved, especially when it comes to men. Don't say, well, she's pretty and I don't really see what's wrong with her and she looks good to me. He don't like her. And he don't gotta like her. If you like her, call her up, reach out to her, you go get her. But I'm not, that's not to anybody because nobody has said that. But I just feel like people need to allow people to have their choice. And that's it. And a lot of the experts also tried to push them back into this corner. Pastor Cal knew it. Pastor Cal knew good and hell well Brennan don't want her. So why he trying to push him into a corner to say what he does or doesn't like about her is only going to just cause more issues because you can tell Pastor Cal, you know good and heck well that man don't like her. And that's not something you should push because people, it always comes back. And we've seen it with all the other couples, whether it's Karen and Miles or anybody, when they try to push through, when they initially don't like the person, it becomes a seed. And, you know, you mentioned it earlier, and we harp on this point, and the ladies try to gaslight us into hell that they can change their opinion. No, because you may get through it, but you're going to suffer through it, and it sows a seed of discord. And that seed grows and grows and grows. So what your feelings are about that person doesn't just go away. If you didn't have that instant spark, it doesn't go away. And I don't care what you've said, other men. Other men tell me they don't have a problem. Nobody likes to hear the story. I can tell you. Guys have learned to master, and a lot of men have learned to master the art of not speaking their feelings. It's only now that men can tell you, hey, I don't like this or this and that. Sometimes we get a little overboard with it. I'm not going to hold you. But I'm saying men are just learning to articulate certain things. So normally we do the suck it up kind of stuff. So when you tell that story about, oh, he was never my type and I just gave him a chance. You know, he had that rusty tooth and that snaggly eye, but I gave him a chance and I told him we could get to the doctor and fix it. And you tell all your friends and then you tell him and you're like, oh, babe, yeah, I wasn't even paying you any attention when we got to the story. Ha, 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 ha. He don't like it. I'm telling you, he don't like it. He might not tell you because he don't want to say it and he's happy that you like him, but he doesn't like it. Nobody likes to hear that. At our core, I don't care. There's certain things that we are, I know women like to, you know, listen, men and women are different, yes, but there are certain things that are unifiers. And at our core as human beings, we like to be liked. Nobody feels good that you initially didn't like them and now you settled and gave them a chance. I want to stop that narrative. Nobody feels good. Now, you might have worked it out and you might have said in your head, hey, listen, I learned to value other things, and you work through that process. But if you're articulating it in that way, the first way that I was saying it versus what I just said, and you're telling him and no, nobody wants to know it. Nobody wants to feel it because you don't feel valued. So I went on a rant, but I just think I think we kind of need to revisit this because it becomes a thing and women feel like they could just tell us it and just shut us up and this is going to go away. No, it's real and it's something that needs to be talked about and fleshed out.
I ain't mad at that. Man came in and sucked it all up. I ain't mad at it, bro. You spitting, I can't hate. All right, let's talk about Lauren and Orion. Cause baby, yeah. Tell me, Sean, what's your thought process? Because I wish I've said that.
I'm letting out a sigh. Well, first of all, I mean, I just got to say it again. Yeah, Taronda, I had coffee. I did. I went to Starbucks. And also, I'm excited to be up here with my brother because you don't know how I've been selling Kojo. I've been throwing clips left, right, and forward.
You became Married at First Sight's ambassador.
You would think I was getting paid to advocate for them to, you know, for us to do this review. But no, I really felt like there was some good stuff to talk about. But yeah, I mean, these two here. Whew. Now, I just went on a rant about how we need to be honest about what we say. And if you don't like somebody, tell somebody. Well, Orion took it too far. He took it too far, and then I also think he's being a little bit dishonest because I think he's using the smoke screen of this whole offensive to the Native American community or the indigenous population community comment. He's using that as a smoke screen for the fact that he just don't want Lauren. And Lauren knows because she said it. She said it. You know, and our friend, married 10 years, did a whole great breakdown on their scenario. And I'll take a piece of what she said, which I think is that the crux of why he doesn't like her. Because she was too honest, too free about all this sexuality stuff. She just said it was too much information. And he couldn't take it. And I think that's at the crux of why they're not together. Now, I do think Lauren talks too much. I think she talks too much. I think she comes off as somewhat of a know-it-all. And that's what gets in her way because she talks too much. But she got a lot to her, bro. She's got a lot to her too now. He got a lot to him too because he's still living with his mama. You know, So he's still living with his mama. We really don't know what he does for a living. So he got a lot to him. But I think that it would take a lot for Lauren to find her match. You know, she's bisexual. You know, there's a certain population of, again, like I mentioned before, there's a certain ideal that as men we hold. It would take a certain type of man that agrees with that. We would think it would be Orion because he's flexible, fluid, whatever he calls himself. But I don't know. I really don't know. These two were odd match, but I think he got too political. Too political though. It's just too political for me, bro.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I just don't think he finds it. I personally don't think he was attracted to her from the very beginning. If I'm honest with you, I don't think he was. Personally, I think he was attracted to her from the very beginning, not because she's not pretty, but because he just wasn't attracted. If we had an old boy here talking to the mandem about how big his nuts were, and then suddenly now he gets with her and he's not he's not romantically attracted to her, but they got great chemistry. I was like, yeah, the brother wasn't feeling it, bro. Okay, now he said he was woke. He didn't say he was black woke. Okay, so y'all done messed up. Put him with the black woman who's is she queer? What's her thing?
She's fluid, but she gravitates towards men more.
Okay. So I personally think there's a lot of wounds with Orion, if I'm honest with you. It's the voice for me, it's the body language, it's the way he talks, the way he's wounded, the way he addressed the whole situation about the problematic statement. It's given very much emotional. It's very much given still wounded, still hurt, and somebody who will, in a sense, punish you for when you offend a person. So as soon as they feel slighted, they're gonna slight you. I think honestly he wasn't attracted to her, and that's what made it even more worse as well. Yeah.
And listen, he kind of told her. He told her in the beginning because his mother has a strong personality. So he was like, I really don't like it. I really don't like, and I think he said, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was mentioning when he was like talking about his background, he doesn't like how his household or the society is kind of matriarchal. He kind of spoke out against some of that. So
I didn't like that. He didn't like it. He didn't like that.
No. Yeah, and I think his mom is very opinionated. He did make that point, to be plain. And he said that he definitely didn't like that. He's felt like he got overruled a lot by his mom and his sister. So I mistakenly thought Orion was going to get walked over by Lauren, but I think he's one of those people, when somebody overcorrects from their childhood trauma or childhood issues. So he overcorrected. Now, I still don't think he was attracted to her, but I think his execution might have been differently if she didn't trigger him. They love to tell us we get triggered sometimes. So I think he was definitely triggered. She triggered him for sure because his reaction was so over the top, bro. I would have thought this lady like called him a racial slur and never apologized. One, she didn't. She just had misplaced inappropriate laughter when he made a comment based on her ignorance of what the term meant, right? I get it. He has a right to be upset. I'm not telling him he shouldn't be upset about it, but it doesn't seem matched to what she did.
Yeah.
It's like he's using this as the linchpin for the entire crumbling of their marriage. And if you really like somebody, and I think this is when Lauren had a good point, right? She's like, I deserve to be in a marriage with somebody this is what she was saying at the end, who is willing to work it out and willing to work through challenges. This really, in the grand scheme of things, isn't such a huge deal.
Yep.
Right? Like people are gonna do things in a marriage. People are gonna make a slip of the tongue. They're gonna say something. And at the end of the day, yes, I'm not saying he shouldn't be offended. Don't take me wrong. I'm saying that at a certain point, you have to learn to navigate, okay, was this intentional? You have to do an assessment. You have to assess, like, hey, were they intentionally trying to hurt me? What did they say? How did it, like, after you process, after the moment, you have to come back and you have to say, oh, you kind of look at it, unless she said other things, but other than that, he said no. But I think he's still in his moment. But you know what he keeps also harping on, which I think she definitely did trigger him, and his issues with his mom and his sister dynamic, because she keeps saying, well, whenever we get to talking about it, the way she reacts, it's just, I feel like I can't talk to her. So he's somebody, I don't know what you'll know better, but like when they're in conflict, it's almost like you have to be perfect. You have to be, your voice can't get elevated. You can't get, no matter what they're saying, no matter what's happening, you kind of have to be here, because if you get up here too much, they're going to shut down. The conversation can't happen, and they feel like triggered, or they feel harmed, or they don't feel safe, because he keeps referencing, like, she gets upset. I'm like, okay, she raised her voice. Like, what was she upset about? Was she angry that, like, you have to look at all sides of it. But that's another thing I think he gets triggered by.
Yeah, he's reliving. So there might have been some, just not, the overruling inability. Maybe the mum wasn't very considerate of his feelings, and it became almost in a sense of feeling like he's been treated meanly, and so it's like maybe he's feeling a repeat offense happening from Lauren's side of her. He might have felt like she's being quote unquote mean again, not like her, but a woman again is being mean again. It's like, okay, no, this time round, y'all motherfuckers got me twisted. I am not standing a second time to get run over again. And and maybe her, and she does give. I'm not saying again. I said this before. That masculine energy that she be carrying. When I say masculine in terms of that strength, and he be carrying more of the feminine energy, it's gonna be a problem, because a man in his feminine is usually wounded. He's normally hurt. So to see her come in a place, and in the conversation, it's not that she's even necessarily being wrong about anything, but she is not dainty in the apology. And what that means is nothing's gonna make him feel better, right? But she doesn't give the energy like, oh my god, like, I'm so sorry, like, oh my god, it's like, I'm sorry, I said what I said, but I'm sorry, like, and it's like that will trigger him. That doesn't make it right. I still think it's wrong. I'm more explaining what I think is happening. I think he already has an image of her based on past conversations, because the original conversation, I remember watching the original conversation, and that strength, um that strength is going to be a trigger, because it's going to remind him of his mum, and it's going to remind him that he had no power in that situation, and he's going to I think he's going to project more of what his mum was like onto Lauren, as to when she said that joke about her trying to intentionally hurt him. That's the reason why you don't forgive someone. The reason why you don't forgive people is when you think they're intentionally trying to hurt you. Which means that if he's thinking that that she's trying to hurt him, it's because that's what he's probably experienced. He probably experienced people who have not been very considerate of his feelings, and he probably thinks Lauren's doing the exact same thing now. Hence why no apology was going to work, because you was intentional with what you're doing. Nothing you can say can change it. So yeah, a bit heavy.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like she does have a strong energy to her. And I think, to your point, how can I say this? Like, she led the sexual conversation. And I think if it was going to happen, he wanted to be the one to lead it. And she led it. Because, I don't know if you remember, I think it was either last episode or the episode before that, where she was telling him all the sexual things she would imagine him doing to her.
Oh.
And she told him, like, you look like you like to please, do you do that? Because I like that. And he was like, yeah, it's like,
Better
it,
man pick up.
and I think like she was the one that kind of led it. And I think like she was, and this is why I said like, listen, we're in 2023, right? So there's this whole thing about sex positivity, and we talk openly about it, and especially women feeling liberated to have these conversations. I think she took the ball and ran with it, and I think she underestimated Orion, and she took for granted his image, how he presents, because he presents feminine, more on the feminine side. He looks kind of woke, open. They talk the same language. So she took it for granted, like, oh, I can just be my full unadulterated self. And he was like, yeah, it's gonna be a no for me, especially if you're kind of like fully sold on somebody, you might give them a pass, or like you might say, hey, I really don't like that. You might be more invested to have the conversation and work through it. But if you're kind of on the fence with somebody, like when they do things like that, it's like, check, right? She's got a strong personality, check, another issue, red flag. She's kind of rude, she's a little dismissive. She laughed when I was trying to have a serious conversation with her, check. She's a little more sexual, a little too open sexual, check. She told me she had sex with somebody 2 months ago and it wound up being a complete stranger, check. She had a lot of nails. She was starting to get a lot of nails in her coffin. And I think like that's where, when you're getting to this, is so important. And I'm not saying that these things wouldn't have come up down the line, but I think like that's why you just have to pace yourself. And I think that's when I said she talks too much, that's what I think. Like if he was going to like her and want to be with her, it would have had to be a slower burn. And mind you, I'm not putting the blame on Lauren. I'm just saying, like, looking back, like, if somebody's going to like you and you come with a lot, but you're trying to be better in a relationship, you can't give somebody your all 110% like that. You have to give people a chance to slowly digest certain aspects of your personality. It's almost like, the dating phase, right? You just little by little, you show up on the first date, you're giving your best. That's your best presentation, right? And little by little, you're peeling back the layer and allowing the person to get to know all of you, the good and the bad. But if you're just going full tilt and expecting somebody to accept so much of that, like, I think that's a lot. And you have to have a self-awareness, right? Like, I think sometimes we think, oh, well, I'm me. I'm going to be me. I'm going to tell my truth. I'm going to live my truth. Yeah. You could do all of that, but understand, if you want to be in a relationship with somebody, it's very difficult for people. We as people, we're always assessing, we're always breaking down, we're always thinking. So somebody's on the other side of that, and it's difficult to get somebody that's just going to be like, oh, great, I love all of this chaos, I welcome it. My thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, listen, look, I think personally, with him, I just feel like he's one of those people that so you get some men who are wounded, right, and are in their feminine and they're comfortable being in that space, more than likely because they've actually been around that feminine energy quite a lot of times in their youth. They're comfortable. Then there are some other men who, when they are in their feminine, are really hurt. So when they get a woman that's more masculine, there's actually a fight, because that's where they want to be. They want to be in a driving seat. They want to be the leader. They want to be the one that is assertive. They want to be the more masculine presence in the relationship. But her natural dominance kicks in the relationship because of your lack of energy in that respect. Sometimes there's a resentment that kicks in too from the other side as well, from his side of things, because it's like, you're playing the role that I want to play. So when you're talking about, obviously, her being so sexually liberal, well, we saw him do that with the boys. We saw him talk about how big his penis was, all that stuff. Came to the relationship, maybe I've missed the episode. I didn't really see none of that energy. I didn't see none of that. I got the BDE energy in the relationship, right? Suddenly all that went away. You know why? Because there was not, that boasting that he did, right? He met actual masculine energy, and instead of actually countering it, he fumbled. He went back into his natural survivor habitat and went back into his natural survival instincts because, again, the trauma is from the mum. I'm not saying the mum's a bad person per se, just saying the trauma I think is from the mum, and I don't know where the dad is either. I don't know where the dad is either. So, two, that can play a role as well, right? But that then linking to maybe a repeated offense and trauma that he felt with his mum, and that just kind of like took him back to childhood him. And until you've healed those wounds, you start blaming everybody else apart from yourself. And I say this because like I said, I've been there, so I know. I would complain when I was younger. I would complain, the girl's not being considerate of my feelings. Well, nigga, you didn't speak up. You know what I mean? Or the girl was being too rude. No, because she's sensing the fact that you're weak. You know what I mean? She can sense the weakness. So when she says what she's doing, she's almost trying to, I don't want to say tease you, but she's almost trying to. She's also testing the boundaries too, right? I'm not saying she's right for doing what she's doing. I'm saying she's also testing the boundaries too, because she also senses that there's a weakness in you, and so disrespect is starting to creep in because she can't respect the weakness that you're showing right now, right? And then you read it as, well, she's disrespectful, she doesn't respect me, that's why she's doing what she's doing, and you're probably right, she is. But it's, again, like, all those little things, those little minute things start to play a role in the situation, and they're minuscule, but they're big because they lead up to bigger things. So watching him and how aggravated he was over Lauren in a situation where you said you were, and you saw the flippy flappy behavior when he said, "Oh, we need some space, gonna have some time away, we're gonna reset." Came back and was like, brother tried to lie about, oh yeah, we had a conversation, but then time was against us. Nigga, no, it weren't. You didn't want to meet up. You didn't finish the situation. See, that kind of behavior is what we're talking about, when you're dealing with your feminine man. Lying, cheating, stealing, manipulating, all that kind of stuff comes out because I'm not saying that women are in that space, but I'm just saying, as men, when we're in that feminine energy space, that's what we do. You know what I mean? So that's what ends up happening in that instance. So you saw how he wanted to twist the story, even with the redskin comment, how he wanted to make it enagamous. He wanted to make it so big. He was like, my whole ancestors have been offended. Nigga, please. Okay, you said the N word. My ancestors are offended, but we've moved past it. You've moved past it. She said a thing. It was okay. You've gotta move past it, bro. The ancestors are not turning in their grave. Okay, they're gonna be okay. All right, you move forward. But he couldn't.
Yeah, and I think another thing in terms of why he didn't do all that bragging about his birth certificate, right, is because he's doing that with the guys as a bravado kind of thing, right? Trying to brag and braggadocious. But who can call him to task on that? Nobody. Because what are the guys going to say? Oh, you're lying. It's not true. Even if a guy said that, it's going nowhere. It's at the end, ha ha ha, you're lying. You're just making up things, and we move on. No, Lauren, and likely Lauren would be like, oh, well, let me see. Let's test this theory out. And he knows he ain't no fool. He knows he just want to, he's talking crap. He's capping. And he just might not want to have sex with her. Whatever it is, it's all cap ultimately, right? Because if you're going to stand on business and talk about you got a girth certificate, you should be able to stand on business and do that where it counts, which is with the lady, right? And he talked about, he's given women pain because of his size. So if you're going to do all that talking to the fellas, but then when you get in front of your wife, you are quiet, right? You turn into Mr. Turtlehead, you shrinking up like a turtle. You up in here like a turtle, Come on, bro. Be quiet. Because he knows Lauren would have been like, okay, I got you. Let's test this out. Yeah, but the other thing, and you touched on it too, and this is the part that kind of saddened me. It was his lack of accountability. It was his lack of accountability in the moment and his inability to see like what his error was in any of this. And it's like he took all the twists and turns. And again, we usually tussle with the ladies with all this accountability stuff and them having to explain. So again, I think there is a part of him where he said, like, I reject it, because he knows at his core, he's like, I reject a lot of the feminine things that he's grown up around, because he knows, like, it's like, as a man, he should be leaning more towards the male side than the feminine. Not to say you're not going to have any feminine aspects, of course, absolutely, but he's way too much into his feminine part. So he just seems very confused to me. And that's why he's all over the place. It's like, bro, like, you can't stop for 1 second and see how you just might have overreacted to this whole thing. And then he definitely, it's like, even at the end, it's like he wants to dress things up, but then at the end of the day, he doesn't want to, like, say, at least hold your stance. What do you feel? And he said to her, when she was like, oh, we have a reconcilable difference, he was like, oh, no, not really. We'll kind of figure it out. No, bro. You said sex is off the table. Your romance is dead. You don't really know how to feel. You don't like, this is all the stuff we've heard from him at certain points. So that sounds like irreconcilable differences to me. Like, you can't even just, if you even just want to be in this place, okay, if we can accept your truth, like, you don't like her and you feel completely offended by what she said, then just stand on that. Don't wiggle around. He keeps trying to wiggle around, trying to worry about how he's perceived. Say what you mean, bro, and mean what you say.
$100, Sean. 100. Well, listen, we've brought it to a close. We've mentioned a couple, so we've had a good conversation. I'm gonna let Sean do deacon business and bring church to a decent close.
This was a good conversation, Coach. I appreciate you. I needed to vent. I needed to get the maths energy out into the LBB family. So I feel good. I feel a release. So I appreciate this. Thank y'all for listening to me. Hopefully we had a good conversation. We had a good breakdown. And I think, at the end, we got some good takeaways. I did, even as I was kind of watching these couples. And I think, we think about the lessons, right? First, we think about Becca and Austin. Listen, one, sometimes whatever those issues are, whether they're medical, emotional, financial, don't bring all your issues into a relationship, right? It's nothing wrong. Everybody deserves love. But if you got a lot of issues, sometimes it's time to sit it out, because everybody doesn't have the bandwidth to handle all the issues that you have. And just be conscious that the issues that you bring to a relationship get magnified and then become a mirror reflected right back at the person that you're in the relationship with. So be conscious of that. And then also, for the other person, be honest, right? I see Austin, he's trying, he wants to do the right thing, but you also need to be honest. Even a dam breaks, right? A dam has a release so that the water can flow out. No human being has the tolerance to take all of that. Right. So you have to be honest, because what happens is, when we bottle things up and we don't talk about it, we say yes, yes, yes. We yes people to death. Then it erupts. Right. And when a dam erupts, that's destruction. So please don't be dams, because that's a wall. Again, we talked about not building walls. We don't want to slide down walls. So please don't be a wall. Right. Don't be the capacitator for somebody's stress and drama. Be honest with how you feel. Brennan and Claire, bro, it's okay to not like somebody. Just be nice, be a human, treat somebody how you want to be treated, and let them down gently. But I think we all owe it to each other to be honest and to be clear and to not be harmful and hurtful in our relationship. So if you don't want it, if you don't want them, then don't talk to them. Okay. But don't be rude. Don't be mean. Who do we have next? We got Claire and Cameron. I don't know. Well, first, talk to people nice. That expression, the song, talk to me nice, is there for a reason. So from Claire's perspective, talking nice is something that we all should do. We should be gentle. We should learn how to speak love and life into our relationships. And for Cameron, listen, people are not test kitchens for their capacity to take your antics. You know, don't push people's boundaries, don't push people's limits. That's never the answer, never the recipe to effectively handling problems. You don't push people beyond their limits and their boundaries to make a point. Have conversations, talk things out, move on. Last but not least, Lauren and Orion, I don't know. We got so much going on, but don't get so political so quick, right? They say it for a reason, right? At work, you know, you don't talk politics and you don't talk religion, you know. Well, you can talk those in your relationship, but just piece them out, you know, piece them out, give people a chance to know you, you know, let people let somebody peel back the layers of you like an onion so they really get the full experience of you without a full-on, you know, mash to the face, because this onion mash to somebody's face is never a good thing, right? We want people to peel back the layers. Back to you, Coach.
Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for joining us for Married at First Sight this Thursday. We'll be back again next Thursday. Listeners, it's I guess it's warming up a little bit now. You know what I mean? I got somewhere to it, so we're in it now. But I appreciate you guys for joining us today. Enjoying the conversation. We'll see you again very, very soon. Remember, we are not building walls. We're not climbing them, and I don't want to see you slide down them either. Okay, all right. So we'll see you again very, very soon next week for another enthralling conversation again. All right, my favorite meme. There we go. That's it. Don't find yourself in that situation. Okay, be strong.